We are back. Today, I have the one and only William Tank.
Howdy, everyone. Yeah, this is my first time being on the channel, but I'm pretty sure we interact on Twitter so much, Marcos. I feel like I'm part of the Marcos Moxie boosted cinematic universe already.
Yeah,
You could
like
say.
we even
So it's
team
nice to
built
finally be here.
together. We team built together for Knoxville until I switched over to Tornadus and you said I'm out.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Tor on the team sheet, I was like, I'm out. And then I looked a little more, and it was Dragon Dance Gouging Fire, and I was like, okay, we can go our own way.
Yeah. And then in who debuted?
Might
Who
have
got
been you.
18?
Might have been you. So
Who got
maybe it
18th
was the call
place?
for the week.
It
Yeah.
seems like I was right. Seems like, all right. That's enough.
Yeah.
Enough gloating. Today we're gonna talk about Zamazenta, and I had to bring Will on because no one on Earth, and possibly Mars, has ever gotten as many hours on this Pokemon as Will has. Will's been a believer of Zam since Generation 8. Now, to be fair, back in Gen 8, he was just coping. Like, it was bad. But in Gen 9 now, he's doing a little bit of a victory lap. Everyone on Twitter has been noticing the Zamazenta results and going, all right, Will, it's time for Will. Your profile picture is literally just a Zamazenta plush.
It's so funny because it's like I wasn't right all along. As we were talking about earlier, like Zamazenta up until last month was a completely different Pokemon. Like Zamazenta to me clicks Wide Guard, Snarl, and Coaching next to a Dynamax Groudon until last month.
Yeah, it doesn't even run any of those moves anymore. But
it doesn't even. I don't even run Behemoth Bash.
Yeah. So before we get into it, if you guys enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications. I'll leave Will's Twitter in the description down below. Do you have a Twitch? Do you stream?
Yeah, it's a true Will Tank.
Okay.
Because I forgot my password for the original Will Tank.
Gotcha. So I'll also get that link down below. And also,
Cool.
comment down below what Pokemon we should talk about next, what topic. There's a lot of new stuff to cover with the format shifting. This channel is partnered with GamerSupps. If you want to support my work and get great tasting drinks, you can order GamerSupps through my link in the description down below or with code MoxieBoosted at checkout for 10% off. GamerSupps is a caffeinated product that I recommend only to my 18+ viewers, but my link will send you to their caffeine-free product section just in case. Every product purchased through my link supports my channel financially, so I'd really appreciate the support. Now back to the video. But yeah, let's get into the Zamazenta discussion. So do you want to do like a quick overview of what changed with Zamazenta between Gen 8 and Gen 9?
So the main thing that changed is basically in Gen 8, Zamazenta was essentially just worse Zacian. It had no real way to benefit. I mean, obviously, besides the bulk from its defense boost, it had its signature move did the same thing, but it was just weaker because it was coming off a weaker attack stat. And yeah, but going into Gen 9, it gained Body Press, and it's always had Iron Defense, which are a match made in heaven. So now, instead of being the support piece, it is now the Pokemon that you surround with support pieces. Basically everything in the format.
Yeah, if a good way to explain it is like Zamazenta in Reg G sort of plays like Komodo did in Reg F. Just a lot stronger because Komodo's defense is 125 and Zamazenta's defense is 140 defaulted to +1 unless you switch out. So the damage this thing does.
I think better base typing too.
Oh yeah. No, you definitely don't want to have a fairy weakness, which is awesome. Like for example, like default Zamazenta into an Incineroar. One of the biggest things is that Incineroar isn't really an issue for Zam because Body Press just immediately one-shots it off a +1 156 bold defense or whatever nature it's running. So that's honestly ridiculous. And do you want to explain like the Pokemon? Well, I guess we can talk about your specific team here that you got third place with at the last not the last major tour, but like one of the more recent online tours.
Yeah, so with this, I mean, honestly, it kind of started with just like, for me, in every new format, I like to, like I did it with Reg F too until I discovered Gouging Fire. I just start with Incineroar and Mungus. And from there, I was like, okay, we might as well throw Rapid Strike on. And so I have my Firewater Grass Core. They just seem like they naturally support like a setup Pokemon really well. Like Urshifu is the immediate offense, and then Incineroar and Mungus just like help keep it alive, position around it better. And then the Raging Bolt is kind of there. For Kyogre, it helps a lot with Calyrex. Like in front of Incineroar and Raging Bolt, with Calyrex, it's really hard for it to get going. And Calyrex is actually really annoying for Zamazenta because like the best thing it can do is two-shot it with a heavy slam. And you have to eat 2 Astral Barrages to even get that done. So not a fun matchup. So I feel like Raging Bolt really kind of holds the team together. It just kind of sits on the field like a control tower and just spams snarls and electro the whole game. And then you have Pelipper for the wide guard, two to help out against. Every good restricted not named Zamazenta pretty much has a spread move. Shout outs to the wide guard video from yesterday. So yeah, it helps out a lot with that. Rain is nice for, the fire moves for Zamazenta, which you really don't care much about anyways, except for Chi-Yu. Like Incineroar, Flare Blitz, you don't care. And then obviously like the immediate offense with Urshifu is really nice because, with a slow team like this, you can play it slow, but you also really want to have the option to just hit the go button,
Yeah, and definitely with like this team, it feels like it plays in such a way where your win con is almost always Zamazenta, right? So it's like, okay, if the opponent has, let's say, like a Landorus, the way that you win the game is like KO the Landorus, Zam wins. Like it's one of those teams, you know what I mean? It kind of like, it's sort of like Dondozo in that way, where it's remove the thing stopping me from pressing my win button. Which I feel like it's a weird comparison to do Dondozo, but like even in the format, like there's a very limited amount of Pokemon that beat Zamazenta. We'll put Landorus Incarnate on there because that is the obvious one, but beyond that, like we don't have a lot of really great ground types running around, especially like special attacking ground types that can bypass that. It's basically like Ursaluna, which is also an issue because you're a normal type, you can be body pressed and take a lot of damage from that. It is a very strong move. And like as far as fighting or as far as fire types go, it's basically limited to Incineroar, which doesn't exactly beat it. Terra Ghost is an option, but then you have to spam Flare Blitz. And like, I think the most reliable Incineroar into Zamazenta teams is like the safety goggles Terra Ghost, because you ignore the Amoonguss, you can just focus it down. But even then, that can be sort of hard to slot onto a team at the moment. And of course, Chi-Yu is like the biggest one, the biggest Zamazenta op at the moment, just because it exists.
Terra Ghost Chi-Yu, biggest hater in the world. You Terra out of the weakness and it'll just splint you anyways.
Apparently you can say it. You were complaining a little bit. Why did you not make it the finals?
I'm just saying Chi-Yu Dark Pulse splinters are cracked. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. But yeah, so Zam's been making waves. There's a couple. Let's see if there was a couple more Zams in this tournament. If we just click on the mon, we can actually see. You're sort of the outlier in these results, but it seems like there's always been a Zam somewhere near top 16 in the past few tournaments. So like just like analyzing the different sorts of Zamazenta teams, what's like the one like through line do you think that's happening with all these as the metagame's developing?
I think they're all balanced berry, firewater grass. Most of them have like a Raging Bolt or a Tanglu, like something there to just kind of slow down special attackers. And then, the 6-mon can kind of be a lot of things. Like you see, Pelipper, that's the main one that's coming on now. Like Tanglu, I had Grimmsnarl on for a while, but I think the main thing is just like Balanced Berry, Amoonguss, and Incineroar. And if you're not doing Amoonguss, you at least need Amoonguss or Incineroar. I feel like every team already needs those anyways, but it needs some kind of healing is a big thing too. Because I can't run leftovers.
And I feel like Rillaboom's good, right? Like it's a solid Pokemon next to Zam, but you don't have redirection and you don't have the burst healing. It's more just like, okay, Zam needs to protect this turn, and it can't run leftovers, so it's not like you get an 1/8 of your health at the end of the turn. You still just get the 1/16, which it can be not enough at times. So I feel like Amoonguss, Incineroar, Zam are like the big three, and then like the last three. I think Pelipper is objectively the correct choice, by the way. I don't see anything else, but like the last two mons sort of feel interchangeable. Obviously Urshifu Rapid Strike is a big one, but we can see some other variants of the team opting for like a Flutter Mane as their go mode. Basically every team has like a go button, right? This one has Flutter Mane, this one has Flutter Mane, this one has Gouging Fire, which I think is kind of insane to run next to this guy. And then we have like Pow Knight. But if we can look at some more recent tournaments, if you have anything you want to throw in here while I open up another tournament, anything you want to talk about?
Oh, I know it won the Tommy Tour this week.
The Tommy Tour? Where is it?
That's what kind of lit a fire under me to play Hemi. Yeah, it was the 24th, I think. Tommy Tuesday practice tour. It's near the bottom. It's like 5th from the bottom, I think.
There it is. Yeah, it won it. Okay, this is the one I was looking for. Yeah, this is also going to be more info on it. There's the Gouging Fire Tinglu guy again. But yeah. This is just an exact copy of your team, but with Flutter Mane over the Urshifu. So it feels like those are the two modes at the moment that are placing consistently.
Yeah, and the Rillaboom over the...
Rillaboom over Amoonguss.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
which, you know, you can, I feel like, yeah, playstyle thing, you know, if you want the, hello?
Sorry. Sometimes there's a little bit of lag in the call.
Oh.
So what I'm noticing with
okay,
this one is, do your Pelipper didn't have Tailwind, right?
It did not.
It did not? Yeah. So what I'm noticing here...
And it did not.
Yeah, what I'm noticing here is that the Fluttermane is Sash Icy Wind, which I feel like can be a little bit helpful into the... I guess for your team, it doesn't matter so much because you're running Wide Guard, but because this guy isn't running Wide Guard, it can be useful into the Calyrex matchup to make sure that you can outspeed it and then go for basically 2 Behemoth Bashes in a row. You know, both of your mons survive the first one, you Icy Wind, you Behemoth Bash, then go for the second Behemoth Bash or a Shadow Ball or something. So that can be pretty big in that matchup. How does Zamazenta deal with Cali Ice? Because I feel like Cali Ice isn't a bad matchup, but it also feels like one of those matchups where if you lose an important piece, it can just run through the whole team.
The Amoonguss on the Calyrex Ice teams is usually the biggest issue for Zamazenta because, like, what I run on Zamazenta is Terra Water, and once you get 1 Iron Defense up and you Terra Water, like, that Calyrex isn't doing anything to you, basically, and I'm pretty sure Body Press is an easy 2-shot at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, Amoonguss is the biggest op at that point. And one minor correction, I didn't have Wide Guard on mine. I did have Protect.
Oh, I thought I saw Wide Guard.
But that's just the thing with my teams in general.
Yeah,
that's just the thing. That was on Pelipper. The thing with my teams in general, I typically just don't build with a lot of speed control. That's just a me thing. I do like the Icy Wind Flutter though.
Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Yeah. You get 1 Iron Defense off, you 2-shot basically everything in the format.
Or 1-shot it. Like Ogrefon, gone. Really good, gone.
I mean, it's 80 base power plus 3. Yeah, that's a messed up move. Okay, so here's what I'm wondering.
And how are you going to remove the boost?
You don't. That's the thing. There's like 1 mon that removes the boost, and it's Leer Tornadus, which, you know, that isn't exactly like a common mon. Or I guess maybe like Galarian Zapdos Thunderous Kick, but that isn't exactly the matchup either. What I'm wondering is, I saw you were running Heavy Slam over Behemoth Bash. What's like the exact purpose for that? Is that just to improve the Amoonguss matchup, or is there something bigger?
That definitely helps. To me, the only thing I'm ever clicking Heavy Slam into are Flying types. Base power from Heavy Slam. The only thing I'm ever clicking is Steel Move 2. Are Flying types, they're going to take 1 point from Heavy Slam anyways, or Fluttermane. Everything else, like Calyrex Ice, I'm going to want to have it up before I can attack, and then I'm Body Press. So, to me, Heavy Slam was just like more stuff like Renderous, Torn, things like that.
Yeah,
that's the only one clicking it into.
The call kind of lagged out there, so I'll summarize it because I understood it. The only thing that's going to get click the Steel Move into is like lighter Pokemon, basically like Fluttermane or Calyrex Shadow. But I didn't realize how light Calyrex Shadow was actually.
Calyrex Ice.
Oh yeah, sorry. Calyrex Ice gets Body Pressed. Heavy Slam.
Yeah, it'd be. Yeah.
What's the base power of that? Hold on. It's 120 into Calyrex Shadow. Oh my god. That's a 2-shot too.
So many. Zamazenta is so heavy. Yeah, Zamazenta is so heavy. Like, it's 120 into most things. And I don't know if it lagged out, but like I was saying with Calyrex Ice, like before I even attack into a Calyrex Ice, I want to be +3 defense, and at that point, Body Press is just what I'm clicking. So, like Heavy Slam into that doesn't.
What do you think is Zamazenta's worst matchup right now?
Really matter. In terms of restricteds, probably Calyrex Ghost. The team has to carry for it a lot.
You kind of rely on the Wide Guard.
Is the main one. Just because you rely on the Wide Guard, you rely on the Incineroar, the Snarl, Electro Web, you know, stuff like that. Like, Zamazenta cannot do it on his own. So that's the big one.
How does the Korat on
basically any
feel?
Ghost type, and especially a Ghost type that can burn you.
Yeah.
Korat can get an Iron Defense off before it hits, or like even just Terra Water in front of it, an Iron Defense, and at that point you don't care. Like, eat the hit at Terra Water, and you just Iron Defense, and it's like, okay, now I Body Press you.
Even then, like at +2, or that's +3, right? Because this counts. Even then at +3, Collision Course is doing so much just because of the Orichalcum Impulse boost and also the inherent boost from the move itself. Like that's kind of scary. So you definitely like have to get that off. But yeah, because at +1, it's a clean 2-shot.
Are you Terra'd in this calc?
No, I'm not. I was just looking at like the raw calc.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Terra Water though, obviously Terra Water's not really too much of an issue. You know, you get up to +1. Collision Course is doing 18 to 21%.
Yeah, honestly, one more thing, Terra Water on Zamazenta, like, I wanted to run grass because like I hate Amoongus, but like the bleak winds were hurting too bad. But the thing is, like Terra Water feels unpunishable. Like Rillaboom Woodhammer, once you're +3, it's doing like 25%.
Yeah,
like,
and at that,
once you Terra Water,
you
it's
get
like
recovery
nothing's hitting
too.
me anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see, +3.
Another thing is you can run Amoongus. You can run Amoongus and then just take advantage of the opponent's terrain, so you can get both.
Oh my god. And a Woodhammer after grassy terrain, 3.2% chance to 3-hit KO. That's messed up. That's a 4-hit KO basically. I hate this mon. Alright.
This dog's messed up, dude.
Yeah, no. Do you think there's any reason to run Snarl on this guy, or do you think it's sort of a waste of a move slot? Because I have noticed that there are some Zamazenta who will drop the steel coverage for Snarl in an attempt to improve like the Calyrex Shadow matchup.
That's news to me. I don't necessarily hate it because like the things I'm clicking in heavy, well, the only thing you're really missing out on at that point is the option to just delete Fluttermane immediately. But like,
yeah,
I wouldn't mind clicking Snarl on the Landorus instead of just two-shotting it with Heavy Slam, you know?
Yeah,
I don't hate it. I feel like in 2 restricteds, Snarl's going to be a lot more common.
Yeah, because you're not carrying the full weight of the team on it. Yeah, I've only noticed that in ladder whenever I face a Zamazenta, like it's usually Behemoth Bash, Iron Defense, Body Press, Protect, but like there have been 2 separate occasions on the best of 3 ladder where I saw a Snarl one, and that actually made the matchup a lot more frustrating for me because I was basically forced to burn my Terra on my Calyrex because I'm a big Calyrex Shadow proponent. Yeah, no. I mean, other than that, there's not.
Yeah, really... I don't hate it at all.
Yeah. Do you think there's like an underexplored partner that you would want to check out for Zamazenta? Because as of right now, like the major partners we see are the Pokemon listed here. Let me get rid of these guys. The Pokemon listed here, right? And I think Tinglu is another big one. Rillaboom's another big one. And Fluttermane. Like these are basically the partners. Is there like a mon you've been considering slapping on to improve a matchup?
I've heard, I had it suggested to me like it's an idea for the 6th slot because I was still, thinking about Pelipper and stuff. Nora, actually, Bub's Pokemon of Twitter fame, suggested Porygon 2, which I don't hate because you get a Trick Room mode, like so you can go Amoongus spam. It also is immune to Calyrex and it has Shadow Ball. So that's a cute idea that I was thinking about. Like the Porygon 2 also fit well with Como, so it's an idea.
Yeah,
you get Porygon 2 Amoongus mode. So yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Other than that, yeah, that's the main one that came to my mind.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you need I'm gonna bring Will back on in a couple of days here. I will be doing a series on how to use each restricted, and I'm gonna have Will help me out with that guide. But I just wanted to take a little bit of time this week and just talk about this Pokemon in particular and why it's doing so well in the tournaments. I mean, basically into every restricted, it has a game plan. The only restricted it gets carried into, or it gets carried by the team into, is probably just Calyrex Shadow. Kyogre isn't much of an issue. You have Wide Guard, Iron Defense, Body Press. How much does that do? Hold on. The Kyogre. Oh my god. Wait, you one-shot fast Kyogre after a single Iron Defense.
Yeah, you do.
This one's
they need demonic, a lot of bulk.
Right. Yeah, no, so I'm trying to think. Let me look at this restricted list right now. I want to see if I can call you out on any bad matchups. Eternatus has to be a bad matchup, but that mon doesn't exist right now. Giratina is definitely a bad matchup, but that mon doesn't exist. Every bad restricted doesn't exist. I guess Lunala is like the only one. But then, it's another Calyrex situation.
Yeah, Lunala is that one too. Yeah, Lunala is that one. It's not as bad because Lunala doesn't steamroll you, and you can just heavy slam it a few times, but it's still not fun. Like anything that you can't click Body Press into is just like boo.
How does it feel having the easiest Terapagos matchup?
It feels pretty good if I can force it to Terra or break that dang shield first,
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's annoying.
I'm actually
just be able to whenever.
Pretty curious. So you have like the shield on it, right? Like the so Terra Shell, 42%. Let's say you get 2 Iron Defenses off, right? Okay, that doesn't do nearly as much as I hoped. I was kind of hoping that like you could one-shot through Terra Shell, but I don't think anything one-shots this thing through Terra Shell. Anyways.
Yeah, you maybe +6, maybe.
Yeah, that's basically all I had to cover today. Is there anything you want to throw in before we go?
Nah, I think that'll be it. Yeah. Thanks for having me on to discuss the best dog.
Oh, for sure. I really hate facing, like I said, I have one of the easier matchups into it, but I still hate facing it. Like it's genuinely one of the most like pull your hair out sort of matchups. But you know, today's your
Music in my
day in the
ears.
spotlight. Congratulations on your Twitter fame. Uh,
Thank you,
if you
thank you.
enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications. Make sure you check out Will's Twitter and Will's Twitch in the description down below. And we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.